Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of Scion of the Dark House, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Gothic horror podcast. Because it is Gothic horror, there are going to be some things that might be unsavory to some people, such as child endangerment, talk about trauma and abuse, body horror, blood, gore, violence, all kinds of things. If you come across anything that crosses a line for you, please take a break. Your support is important to us, but so is your mental health. So once again, we are still down Arthur, but don't worry, he will be coming back. There was only a brief scheduling conflict. So you'll be seeing your lovable half-elf again. So where we last left off, Arthur seemingly vanishing in the night for a brief period of time, leaving behind only a dove feather. The group decided to head to the cathedral and talk to Archbishop Sherman to see if they can convince him to destroy the phylactery of St. Peleus, which they successfully did. Belladonna, itching to get outside and do something after she lost her job to her boss going to prison for selling her sister to a person who did horrible experiments on her. They decided to go to a flower shop that her old boss had been intending on buying, whereupon they met Rosie, a awakened rose bush that seemed to be absolutely terrified of everything, before discovering some things about Mildred Drintel's sister, such as the extent of her physical ailments, before discovering a trap door descending into the sewer and almost immediately getting attacked by a giant crocodile that nearly killed Belladonna. However, quick thinking and some powerful spells on everybody's behalf felled the giant crocodile, whereupon a strange swamp witch came floating down the sewer on another crocodile and introduced herself. And we begin there as you stare at this strange moss-covered wild woman sitting on the back of a giant crocodile, simply being, just vibing.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I am Toothy. You can also refer to me as the Crocodile Witch. So what brings you guys to the sewer?
Well, we were just investigating the disappearance of Ethel Drintel, who used to live above where we are right now. We found an entrance inside of the house down to here. We thought we'd take a look around.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I do have a home in just back there. Of course, I heard all of the fighting and, well, you know, you guys know what happened. Sorry about Gerald. He was always a bit nippy, and this was bound to happen eventually. But don't worry, the rest of them aren't going to do such things.
Them?
Oh, yeah, lots of them. We have lots of them down here.
Oh, how did they get here?
Well, as far as I'm aware, rich people would import them, own them as pets for a little bit, and when they got too big, they'd dump them in the nearest large body of water that they could get away with dumping them in, i.e. here, the sewer. So there's lots of them down here. They've been breeding for quite some time. I've decided to take care of them.
How generous of you. Lead the way then.
Yes, it might be easier if you ride on one of my children here. Where is my... And she pulls out a little bone whistle and another crocodile floats up alongside. Don't worry. Just hop
This will
on.
be fun.
I'm just going to fly. Don't
Oh,
really
that's
need
fine.
to. Yeah. Don't really need to. Though, Toothy, darling, how does one become the sewer-bound crocodile witch of Darkmoor?
Well, it all started when I myself was a little crocodile.
Holy shit.
I know. Well, that's what happens when you have people that decide to experiment on crocodiles. I'm sure you've heard of the spell True Polymorph.
Yes. So someone cast that on you
Yes.
and made you a human.
Yes. It was
And
going to
how's
be
that
there.
going for you?
Well, it's going. I can't say I wouldn't prefer to be my old self, but you know, things happen.
Right.
But yeah, I've been down here for quite some time after running away. Well, it was quite easy to get out after the person that cast on me ended up blowing themselves up by accident. I made my escape and came here.
A very inspiring story. You're very fluent for a person who used to be a crocodile, and I would assume had had no formal education.
Well, I did have a little formal education. It was a couple of years before the wizard accidentally performed the wrong experiment at the wrong time. Well, I don't know how much help that I will be, but there are certainly a lot of goings on here in the sewers. Maybe not anything pertinent to you guys, but you seemed like an interesting lot, and you did end up killing off Gerald there. Don't worry, I'm sure the crocodiles will feed on Gerald. He won't go to waste.
Good to know.
Very industrious.
So, you don't. I mean, I guess you probably wouldn't have any idea about the house above where we came from and what happened to the people there.
Well, I do have an inkling of an idea, because there were some people that were making nightly rounds around here. And, well, unluckily for them, they fell prey to Gerald. That was a while ago. It seems to be quite quiet up there. I'm assuming whatever happened either was completed or was thwarted, either by Gerald or by something else.
People were patrolling around the sewers.
Well, mainly just to that entrance.
Gotcha.
Were they trying to get in the house or into the sewers?
I believe they were trying to get into the house. Some of my babies have talked about similar people going to other houses, more upstream. But that ended up stopping recently. Something about taking people somewhere. I don't know. My babies don't really understand your tongue as best as I do, but they have their guesses.
Interesting. I thought Rosie had been there for quite some time, but maybe Rosie's a newer creation than I expected. All right. Well, you've been very, very helpful. You're taking us to your home now?
Oh, I was assuming we were
I was
talking.
assuming you guys were on the
I thought we were having a
crocodiles.
conversation
Yeah,
like
I was like, we're riding the crocodile at this time.
Yeah. You do end up coming to a place where it seems like the wall has fallen away and several of these tunnels are kind of all exposed to each other. And there is a massive buildup of moss and bricks and other such things. And surprisingly, there's actually furniture down here, chairs, tables, other such things that people would just tend to have. And as she floats up, home sweet home. Not a lot of privacy, but I mean, I'm the only one down here typically. You also do see crocodiles of various sizes, all basking, just sitting on various either pieces of furniture, like the tables, or just laying on the stones, as if they were laying by a riverside. And she gets off and, well, come along. I have tea and soup and other things.
Of course. Thank you.
Of course, this is when Belladonna kind of sidles up and goes, I'm assuming this isn't the weirdest thing you've ever seen, is it?
It's up there.
Oh, that's surprising.
I mean, I've done a few things with moss people.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure they're pretty easy to light on fire.
well, that's concerning. Well, if you have any like bandages or anything, I'm still pretty hurt.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, look. Well, while we're being served tea, I'll keep bandaging Bella back up. I'll use another charge of my healer's kit.
Well,
What was the max roll? I got 10 HP that time.
ooh. She is at this point probably all nicely bandaged up. I didn't calculate her HP exactly, but I have an inkling. Well, and she's pouring cups of this tea. You don't know what it is. It has a very earthy smell to it and a slight greenish color.
Yeah.
But it definitely smells like a tea and not
Okay.
like sewer water or anything.
Cool.
Sorry, I couldn't offer you anything more than just tea at the moment. The soup is still cooking. So, is there anything else interesting happening up above? I'm kind of a bit more in the loop of what happens down here than up there.
Well,
Zombies.
where does there's still quite a bit of undead. I'm sure you know at least a bit about that. Do you tend to get undead wanderers in these sewers ever?
I mean, maybe there's a few every once in a while, but it's not like a plague or anything. And my crocodiles take care of them quite quickly. So I'm assuming you have experienced a lot of undead.
Yes, definitely. We have unfortunately been quite afflicted by them for a long time.
Interesting.
Well, not just undead, darling. Now we're dealing with aberrations from beyond the stars.
Yes, we are.
Interesting. lot has changed. Well, it has been a while since I've been up on the surface.
Has there been anything noteworthy that has been happening under here?
There's occasional people that seem to sneak in or throw things into the sewer that they want to get lost, but I mean, nothing too terribly exciting. No things from beyond the stars down here.
Can I do a perception check?
Sure.
Holy crap, where's my thing? Where are you? I lost my window. Oh. 20. That's a nat 20.
You definitely notice that these crocodiles are a lot more calm than what you're used to back home.
Mhm.
And also they're significantly larger, most of them, at least.
Tuzi, how is it that you've managed to go undetected for so long? I can't imagine the people up top would be thrilled at finding you down here.
I'm honestly not sure. I think it's just right place, right time, you know?
Well,
Do
you'll
you
certainly have
remember-
no problems from us.
Well, that's nice. I
Do
don't
you
get a lot
rem-
of visitors.
Do you remember the name of the wizard that turned you?
Not exactly. I want to say Desmond something, but it's been quite a while.
Will
we
he ever
know
know
what
what Desmond?
Probably not.
Oh God. Okay. What are we doing here exactly?
Vibing.
We're vibing with a sewer witch.
Do you have
Having
any
an
herbs?
adventure.
Do you have any dried herbs that we can smoke?
I don't have any that you can smoke, but I'm sure there's plenty around here for goodness knows what.
Since we're already vibing.
Toothy darling. Could you tell us any more about that house that we emerged from? Because I'm just trying to figure out. You call yourself a crocodile witch? How much magic can you conjure up?
You know, bits and pieces here and there, nothing too spectacular.
There seems to be a spontaneous amount of relatively powerful nature magic up in that house that we haven't figured out why it's there yet.
Interesting. I haven't really sensed a lot of nature magic up there.
Well, I mean, it's probably not around anymore, but it left something behind, I should say.
Oh, very interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on that, or have someone else keep an eye on it. Well, it's lovely to have you here, of course. Well,
have you seen anything down here that's particularly odd or ominous lately?
not lately. Like I said, a few months back, or was it years? I think it was years when it was more prevalent. There were a lot more people moving, well, people or occasionally bodies around. But it's more upstream that they were doing that. It dwindled up until recent months and then stopped almost entirely. a few of the movers seem to have fallen prey to various babies of mine. I can only assume that there was something going on.
Do you know what's at the end of this upstream?
I believe it is just the mouth of the Darkmoor River. The city does sit atop it. And of course, it flows to the other end of the valley and eventually out to the ocean.
How long have we been here? I feel like we can just go.
Well, you've been a lovely host, Tuthi. I definitely hope to see each other again in the future.
Yes.
But I think we will probably be going on our way.
Yes. Well, since you've been such lovely guests, I'll make sure that my crocodiles don't attack you on sight next time you enter the sewers if you need to go anywhere. And I believe there's a few entrances this way that might bring you closer to the upper city if that's where you want to be.
Oh, we've business left at that house we exited. Or at least
Oh,
5 business there.
well, I'm sure I can get one of my lovely little babies to take you back there. Oh, Bertram! And one of the other crocodiles, one of the very large crocodiles, just kind of. Would you take them down that tunnel and take a left at the first fork, and then keep going until you've seen 4 downspouts, and then there should be a ladder on the left side. If you could drop them off there, that'd be lovely. Thank you. And she pats Bertram. Well, I hope to see you soon. Goodbye. Be sure to
Have a lovely
visit
day.
again. Bring me more information. That would be lovely. And maybe some more furniture. I might need some more pillows.
Of course. Have a lovely day.
Yes, goodbye. And you get on the crocodile and it begins swimming its way downstream towards the house. Well, I guess that's everything that we needed from the house.
Oh, darling, we're taking Rosie with us.
I figured.
You know, when you first brought it up, and when we first met Rosie, I thought could be some grand secret treasure or something unexplainable, though. Rerek doesn't sense any magic there, and we haven't found much of anything. Do you suppose they just did it out of spite? Was Mildred just trying to buy her childhood home to spite her mother and her dead mother and her assumed dead sister?
Or to preserve it?
As far as I can tell, that's what the story seems to be.
I mean, we didn't find anything too incriminating aside from a sad backstory. So I can only assume it's one of those.
You do have to love spite, though. The hubris of trying to reclaim the childhood home she ushered her mother and sister out of. Oh, gives me chills.
Well, if Ethel recovers, will she get this place back?
I don't know if recovery is really going to be in Ethel's future in any meaningful way.
Probably not. I mean, I don't really know much about her. You guys said you found her.
Yeah, in the hospital there was a hidden basement where Sebastian was experimenting on her.
Oh. Well, I mean, I always knew she was a bit of a bitch, but I didn't think she was that horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty grisly.
Well, I've never been more glad to lose a job then.
And now you get to come on magical adventures with us. Is that better?
I think I've had enough of magical adventures for at least a week, she says, looking down at her bandages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm still getting a hang of things.
It was just a lesson for you, darling. You just need to fly so that things can't bite you so easily.
I'm not even sure if I can, you know, I don't even know what I can do.
And we've all been there. Like Percy literally woke up from a thing that he was in.
Yes, your brother was down only a handful of days ago, and he needed a whole day to recover in his own home bed for some reason. And look at you, you've bucked up in such a short amount of time comparatively. You should be proud of that, darling.
I guess so. I mean, I'm still getting used to everything else.
Yes, I've played mind games with people, but not to the extent you did to that alligator, am I right?
Yeah.
No, that was a fabulous display. I really like the part where you fried its brain, quite literally.
I didn't think it was going to do that.
Split it open.
Yeah.
Well, it was good. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I didn't think I'd be able to do that. They just have me moving blocks up there in the Staff of Night. Move the blocks over here with your mind. Move the blocks over there. Stack them in this order. Stack them in that order.
It's training. It's like exercise. You have to do it repeatedly.
And now you know that the internal organs of other living creatures are just as movable as blocks. Progress.
I guess you're right.
You should come with us to the house.
No, she shouldn't.
Why not?
Yeah, something tells me that would be a bad idea. At least not right now, not until I can do more things.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, definitely that.
Okay. Just saying. It's also, I was gonna say it's also her house, but does that make sense?
Well, I am the owner.
Yeah, I'm like,
The
are you
proud
both the
owner.
owner? Okay, never mind.
You know, involved.
It's also her family lineage, I would say.
Yeah.
Never mind.
From the stories that I've heard, I think I need to hold off from that for a while at least.
Okay, where to now?
I will say at this point, yeah, the crocodile does kind of just pull up to the side of where you were. Oh, I guess we're here. And she gets off. After you, I guess.
Yeah, he'll climb back up.
Man, why are you two so awkward?
Look, it's been a while since we've been in the same house. A lot has changed.
And she's magic now, and this is just different, okay?
Okay.
So you make your way back up into the house that appears to be left the same. Bertram seems to snort, at least in response, before turning around and beginning to swim back upstream. That was certainly something. At least we made an ally.
Yeah, we have a lot fewer of those than enemies, it seems. So I'll take a crocodile witch. That's something to have in my arsenal, I guess.
Honestly, the metric for taking the title of witch in the mortal realm is so easy, apparently. Handful of spells and live somewhere spooky and boom, witch. Back where I'm from, you need to have teeth made of iron and preferably eat small children on a semi-regular basis.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Hags, dog.
Well,
right.
I'm just going to choose to not engage with that, and we'll go find your plant, Lark.
Well, I
It
told
looks
him
like
to-
Rosie's over there. And she just points to the greenhouse where you see Rosie, the roots apparently going back into the bottom of the pot, just sitting in a corner that seems to have water dripping from the ceiling.
Rosie, darling, how are you?
Oh, hi, you're back.
Yes, we're back. Though I feel we might be leaving shortly, and I'd like you to come with us.
Oh, will there be more sunlight and water?
Sunlight and water, and I'm going to cast a druid craft on Rosie to make one of the flowers bloom bigger. Will that work? It's still a plant.
Yes, it is. So you do see her leaves, or their leaves, become a little bit more green and grow a little, and some of the flowers open a little wider and some buds form. And Rosie shakes. Oh, that tickles. Oh.
You've taken care of yourself quite remarkably so far, darling, but I feel bad just leaving you to wallow here by yourself.
You feel bad?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know why that was so sassy.
okay. Well, I guess so. You guys seem pretty nice. And Rosie, the pot lifts off the ground with the roots coming out, and Rosie begins to walk over to you guys. Oh, I've never been outside before.
Oh, don't worry, darling. There's light and water and fertilizer and
Although there's there's a lot of clouds here, so direct sunlight would probably not be a thing.
Still, you were thriving in the diverse conditions it was for your growth. Though, before we go, is there I feel like Lark's gonna look around and try to find a pot or two that looks like it has a plant that's easy to remove in it.
Yeah, there's actually probably some empty pots just lying around that haven't been potted yet. There's pots with soil in them and no plants. There's pots that are just empty.
I'm gonna get some soil, a pot or two that has soil in it with no plants in it, and I'm just gonna plant 2 of the seeds here.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. They seem to take into the soil.
Yep. And in Sylvan, I'm just going to quietly mutter and be like, with the amount of pain that happened here, you two should grow quite beautifully. In Sylvan.
Of course.
Just some Sylvan mutterings. A little bit of Druidcraft to help them along. I'll just be like, now we need to check on these in some time, probably, but I just want to test a theory, perhaps.
All right.
And those are 2 seeds?
Yeah, he planted 2 plants here.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So secretly, Rerek is doing like a mental count.
Rerek trying to keep up with the number of seeds Lark has spread across Godia.
I'm not worried about it. He's just like really curious, like what the heck is gonna happen with these plants.
But more, yeah, I mean they don't. Yeah, so just plan them and then be like, sorry about that, everyone. I wanted to see if how they'll do here. I have a sinking suspicion quite well.
You sure about that? Belladonna says, kind of lifting up one of the dead plants.
Darling, these are not plants from the material. They're not material plane plants. They don't need much in the way of light or water as much as other things to thrive. It doesn't hurt them, mind you, but if it happens, as I think it might have happened now, this place is going to do marvels for their growth.
All right, then. I'm not going to ask very many questions.
I just go with it. Just
Yeah, it seems like one of those things. So,
Just fair things. Don't worry about it. There's very good
yeah,
chance it won't even affect either one of you.
great. Stills me with such confidence. So does anybody else have anything to do before we head home?
I think we should be fine.
I was thinking about burning up the dead plants, but he
We're
left
not
2
starting
seeds
a
already.
fire in the middle of Darkmoor.
Oh, fire! It's scary!
Oh, Rosie, how would you feel about riding along with me instead of having to walk all the way there? Give your roots a rest, darling.
Okay.
I'll use Mage Hand because I'm assuming Rosie is under 10 pounds.
I'm going to say yes.
And I'll just keep recasting Mage Hand to just like chauffeur this potted plant next to Lark. There's like this shadowy, ooky, spooky.
You really are treating this plant more of a person than other people.
Yeah.
Are we really surprised?
Yep. Just what? Mage.
I'm just thinking about like, how people can use that plant against you. Like take them as hostage.
I mean, Lark likes Rosie. Just met them though, and I don't know if he'd go out of his way to save it from dying, but I don't know. This is the first talking plant we've run into other than the spooky malice. So he's just like, "Aw, it's a little bit. This would be normal back home, but here it's so weird. I feel like I need to take it with me."
I
Friend.
wonder what would happen if Rosie meets Malice.
Disaster?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Starts making notes. So you all head back home through the slick streets, still glistening with rainwater. Rosie seems to have a very bad habit of saying hi to people and freaking them out. Walking along, and somebody passes by as they float by and just, oh, hi! And suddenly, ugh.
I like at one point, Lark's gonna be like, "Haven't you ever seen a talking plant before, you simp?"
They just look absolutely dumbfounded as this fairy flies by with this potted plant that said hi to them, just staring around the corner as you guys continue walking. And you do head back into the upper city. and back to the very familiar and warm and welcoming home of Percy's parents. When you get inside, it is, I would say, probably a little bit after lunch at this point, if you guys left in the morning. It's probably an hour or two after lunch. And it seems that Percy's father, as well as Percy's mother, is home. And they seem to be cleaning up from a late lunch. Oh, well, hopefully you all had a good day.
And then like Bella just shows up bleeding.
Bleeding, covered in bandages. Don't worry, Mom. I killed a crocodile.
She did do that. That is true.
She ripped its brain out with her mind.
It was spectacular.
I mean, even I was impressed.
And
All
look,
right.
we have a talking plan.
Oh, meet Rosie. They're our new friend.
Okay.
This is just slowly turning into that meme from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where Rosie
will
gets
die
the
for
dog,
this.
and she's like, "I've known it for like one day, but I will kill for it."
Oh yeah.
I will kill all of you and kill myself.
Kill all of you and myself. Yeah, that one. Okay. I'm sure there's a nice place to set it somewhere.
Put it down on the table. Put them down on the table because they're awakened.
And at this point, Rosie does kind of wobble and the roots come back out and they get off the table and just start walking around the house. Oh, good, it walks. So first we have invisible cats and now we have walking plants. Great. Any other guests you'd like to mention?
We met a witch.
A crocodile witch may want some furniture.
Pillows specifically.
Father, you know things about furniture. Maybe we could find some pillows for her.
Oh, well, I'm sure we can. No, we are not spending any more money. Fine.
They don't need to be good pillows. I think she's a crocodile witch who's in the sewers.
Don't you have some throwaway old pillows you don't use anymore that you can just toss into the sewer for her?
Toss into the... I'm sorry, what?
She has access through the sewer.
Yes, your sewer's infested by a crocodile witch and her brood.
That's not
What a
concerning
filler
at all.
episode this is.
To be fair, though, honestly, her crocodiles were killing and eating Argenta's little errand boys for a while there on the body trade. The less cautious ones, at least.
Well, that's some good news, at least.
And they're eating undead in the sewers when they do show up, so I think leave that ecosystem alone. Let's not...
Great. Well, good thing I had no intention on going into the sewers.
But they might come out of there.
Oh, great.
They won't.
They might.
Let's hope not. Well, you don't happen to have any idea where Arthur is, do you? I've noticed there's been a distinct lack of cat.
We had
large, visible cat, I should say.
I was literally about to be like, we had Bella's invisible cats.
You know,
he's doing something. Some sort of job.
Right.
Yeah.
Why did you need him for something?
No, I was just wondering. He seemed to leave first thing in the morning. Wasn't with you guys. There's so many people in this house to keep track of now.
Is this like where we live now? I haven't
It's just
stayed
going to
in
be
a
the base
hotel
of
or
operations.
But what should we do now?
I think we would just take a rest and hope Arthur comes back in the morning.
I definitely need a nap. After all that. And
Okay.
at that point, Belladonna does drag herself up the stairs to her room. And I'm assuming you all go and at least begin to take a rest.
Lark's gonna be like, can we touch base on that decapitated head we have in the bag again?
Oh, sure. And I just pull it out.
Yeah.
In front of your family. Oh, sure. Here, look. Oh, what do we do with it? Well, the Archbishop said to destroy it, right?
He did, yes.
It feels like such a waste, though. We can
Is
put
the-
that to such better use than just arbitrarily destroying it.
Like what?
Who can use this as material? I already asked if we can use it as a bag, but it's too small to be turned into a bag.
I mean, it's too small to be turned into a bag, darling, but I mean, look at it. That's the face of a fallen angel. It's radiant, even if it's decapitated.
What could we possibly do with this thing, Lark?
I mean,
Should I do like a
In-
Arcana check on this thing?
as
I don't know.
as Granther used to say back home, if it's not Fey, it's food.
Oh, dear Lord. That's why I'm a vegetarian.
So you want to eat it?
I'd like try a little bit of it, maybe, or feed it to some plants and see what happens. That could be quite fun. Why do you think I brought Rosie back here?
Okay.
Don't feed it to Rosie.
That and Rosie's a darling, don't get me wrong, but I just wonder what kind of fertilizer I could make out of it. And maybe what the skin tastes like a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Can we bring it to the same guy that made Arthur's sword?
I mean,
Or did-
you can, whether or not I forgot
What
his
can
name.
you do with
Can
this?
do anything with it? You don't know.
Or if that's too macabre for the two of you, I could just send it back home. Goodness knows that it could be quite a good bartering chip, the flesh of angels back there.
I mean, there's also a process of shrinking a head. Have you heard of a shrunken head?
But why would I want it to be smaller?
It'll.
Lark, do what you will. Get it off this plane of existence.
You know what? Here you go.
If you don't do that, I'm gonna burn.
Do your thing. Do your thing, Lark. It's yours.
I feel like Lark, how heavy is a decapitated head? Can he carry it? I wonder.
The head.
Probably can.
He's just like cradling this head that's probably the size of his entire torso, because yet again, he's only 2 feet tall. And he's just petting the hair slightly.
God, that's creepy.
And he's just going to be like, oh, I have plans for you. Thanks, boy.
And time passes a bit into the evening as you do various things, sit around the dining room table or perhaps in the living room, watching Rosie run around the house, looking at things, trying to figure out what things are. And as it gets close to dinner time, The door to the front of the house opens, and in walks both Arthur and Dove. And Dove says, well, it seems we have a bit of a problem, and I had to bring it back here. You're the only people that I can trust with this, frankly. And we're going to end the episode there. On that lovely cliffhanger. So join us next week to find out what Dove's problem is. And if there are any
Jasmine?
other interesting, well, Jasmine's with Arthur, of course.
Jasmine's with Arthur and Rosie's with us. Rosie,
Who's on first?
Okay.
So join us next week as we figure out what exactly is Dove's problem and what else is happening in Darkmoor since they left. And I'll see you all next week.